Kaiju No.8 roars to life with Yokohama under siege by a rampaging kaiju, sending citizens running for cover like it's a Black Friday sale, as the emergency kaiju alert system blares, guiding them to refuge. Meanwhile, military officials strategize, debating the kaiju's path and size. Helicopters swoop in, armed to the teeth, attempting to grab the kaiju's attention with a barrage of firepower. Amidst the chaos, locals chatter about the Defense Corps' 3rd Division, gearing up to take down the beast. Soon, Mina Ashiro and her squad swoop in, kicking monster but like it's just another day at the office. Meanwhile, Kafka Hibino and his crew observe the aftermath from a safe distance, gearing up for the daunting task of cleanup duty. As they get to work, Kafka muses on the lack of recognition for their efforts compared to the glory showered on the 3rd Division. But things take a dangerous turn when a careless mistake leads to a teammate getting doused in acidic kaiju blood. Kafka rushes to his aid, reflecting on the harsh realities of their job as they face down the gruesome aftermath of battle. Later, Kafka broods over his less-than-glamorous duties, feeling the sting of unappreciated labor as he watches Mina's heroic exploits on the news. A flashback to his youth with Mina reminds him of their shared dreams of ridding the world of kaiju. But reality hits hard as he grapples with the harsh truth of his current situation. As Kafka contemplates his place in the world, a sense of disillusionment settles in, leaving him questioning the value of his work and the path he's chosen. But amidst the uncertainty, the call to duty beckons once more, as Kafka braces himself for another day of facing monsters, both literal and figurative. Kafka gathers with his coworkers in the morning, where he's introduced to Rino Ichikawa, an aspiring recruit for the defense force. Toku, who brought Rino to Kafka, mentions Kafka's similar ambitions but eventual resignation. Rino, undeterred, confronts Kafka, eager to learn his reasons for quitting. Kafka opens up about his past struggles, but Rino remains determined to pursue his dream, heading off to prepare for the day. Later, at the kaiju cleanup site, duties are assigned, and Kafka and Rino find themselves tasked with the less-than-glamorous job of handling intestines. Despite Kafka's complaints, he begrudgingly accepts the assignment, prompting reflections from their leader on Kafka's untapped potential for greatness. After a hard day's work, Kafka and Rino unwind at a nearby park, where Kafka offers Rino some tools to cope with the job's aftermath. As their coworkers bid farewell and head home, Kafka reflects on completing their duty, feeling a sense of accomplishment. But their respite is short-lived when a Yoju appears, threatening Rino's safety. In a heart-pounding moment, Kafka springs into action, saving Rino from the monster's clutches. The two engage in a thrilling chase, culminating in Kafka facing off against the Yoju alone. Just when all seems lost, Kafka flashes back to his childhood with Mina, remembering their shared determination to combat kaiju threats. Back in the present, Kafka finds himself overpowered by the Yoju until Rino's timely intervention. With renewed determination, Kafka faces his fears head-on, joined by Rino and a mysterious white tiger, ready to take on whatever challenges lie ahead. As the Yoju meets its end with a barrage of gunshots, Kafka turns to see Mina and her comrades nearby. Mina swiftly assigns Igarashi and Takaraji to ensure Kafka and Rino's safety, while she leads the team in scouting for more Yoju. Later, at the hospital, Rino expresses his gratitude to Kafka for saving him, complimenting Kafka's bravery in their encounter with the Yoju, encouraged by Rino's words. Kafka resolves to reapply to the Defense Corps, determined to make a difference. But their moment of respite is interrupted when a bug-like kaiju unexpectedly appears before Kafka and enters his mouth, plunging Kafka into a strange experience. Rino, startled by Kafka's transformation, urges him to leave the hospital immediately. Amidst the chaos, a flashback transports us to a poignant moment between Kafka and Mina, where Kafka shares his insights on battling kaiju. Mina, vulnerable yet determined, confides her fears to Kafka, who promises to stand by her side no matter what. Mina wastes no time briefing her 3rd Division comrades on the urgent mission to take down the kaiju spotted at a hospital. The news spreads like wildfire across Yokohama, setting off alarms and triggering panic among the populace. Meanwhile, Kafka, Rino, and their unlikely companion, the old man, find themselves in a sticky situation as Kafka tries, unsuccessfully, to convince the old man that he's not a rampaging monster. With no time to spare, Kafka and Reno make a hasty retreat from the hospital to prevent any further chaos. As they flee towards safety, Reno grapples with the bizarre events unfolding around Kafka, questioning whether his friend could truly be the kaiju they're fleeing from. Kafka, meanwhile, finds himself grappling with some unexpected bodily changes, leading to some hilariously awkward moments between the two friends. Despite the confusion, Kafka and Reno press on towards an evacuation area, where they're met with a grim realization: the kaiju threat is far from over. Kafka senses a new threat looming nearby, another kaiju on the prowl, with Mina and her team hot on its trail. Kafka and Reno must decide whether to stand their ground or seek refuge and leave the fighting to the experts. As tensions reach a boiling point, the Yoju makes its move, threatening the lives of innocent bystanders. Thankfully, Kafka arrives and sends the creature flying across the city. With Kafka and Reno's assistance, the child and her mother are safely rescued, although the child is understandably frightened by Kafka's kaiju-like appearance. The Yoju makes a dramatic return, but Kafka swiftly dispatches it with a powerful punch, saving the day once again. As he approaches the little girl and her mother, Kafka assures them that help is on the way, but he'll be gone in a flash. Before he leaves, the grateful girl thanks him, triggering a poignant flashback to Kafka's past with Mina. Meanwhile, Reno urges Kafka to leave, but Kafka expresses his desire to stand by Mina's side. Moments later, Mina and her team arrive, offering reassurance to the frightened civilians. Mina vows to eradicate every kaiju, but the little girl's innocent plea not to harm good kaiju leaves her puzzled. Back at Kafka's workplace, his co-workers watch a news broadcast revealing the Defense Force's new codename for Kafka's kaiju form, Kaiju No.8. Reno enters the room, reflecting on Kafka's predicament. Despite 3 months passing since the incident, Kafka remains the first kaiju to evade capture by the Defense Force. Suddenly, Reno receives mail notifying him of passing the first round of the Anti-Kaiju Defense Force selection tests. Excited and nervous, Reno heads off, leaving Kafka's co-workers to ponder his potential future as a Defense Force member. Later, Reno finds Kafka sitting atop a defeated kaiju, delivering the news of his test success. However, Reno notices Kafka's kaiju form and scolds him for his recklessness. Apologizing, Kafka explains that he's still adjusting to his newfound powers, despite the passage of time. As a brief flashback offers a glimpse into Kafka and Reno's return to the hospital, the present-day reality sinks in. Kafka faces a challenging road ahead as he grapples with his dual identity. Torn between his human and kaiju selves, Kafka casually mentions to Reno that he's a pro at acing the first round but often stumbles in the second, despite Reno's concerns about Kafka's powers causing complications. Kafka assures him he'll still take the exam. However, Reno declares himself Kafka's rival, and makes it clear he won't be offering much assistance with Kafka's kaiju-related challenges. Fast forward 10 days, and Kafka and the gang arrive at the West Tokyo venue. Kafka gives Reno some intel about the nearby base when suddenly, they encounter a confident girl who requests Kafka to move his vehicle so she can park hers in his spot. Kafka politely declines, but the girl, named Kikora Shinomiya, isn't one to take no for an answer. With a flick of her suit's power, she effortlessly relocates Kafka's car, leaving him and Reno dumbfounded. Introducing herself as Kikoru, she casually mentions her love for kaiju extermination, sending a chill down Kafka's spine. Kikora's cryptic comment about Kafka smelling like a kaiju leaves him intrigued and slightly unnerved. Reno jumps in with a quick distraction, giving Kafka the chance to shuffle his vehicle to a new parking spot. Kikoru, still intrigued by Kafka's unexpected strength, confidently boasts about her plans to outshine him in the second phase of the anti-kaiju selection test. We then follow Kafka as he tackles the fitness test portion of the second phase. A flashback between Kafka and Reno sheds light on the selection test structure, revealing Kafka's determination to excel in the fitness segment. However, his performance falls short, especially when compared to Kikoru's impressive display. With a teasing jab, Kikora leaves Kafka in the dust, stirring up his insecurities. Regrouping with Reno, Kafka observes the competition, with Kikora standing out as the one to beat. Despite his doubts, Kafka finds solace in Reno's reassurance and gears up for the next phase. where his expertise in kaiju cleanup may give him an edge. As the participants arrive at the next test site, they're greeted by Hashina, the 3rd Division Vice Captain, who drops a bombshell. They must capture and exterminate the kaiju lurking in the area. Kafka and Reno are left dumbfounded by the daunting task ahead. Guided to a new area, the participants are outfitted in Defense Force kaiju combat suits, enhancing their combat abilities. Hashina explains how these suits will boost their power against the test's kaiju inhabitants, with Kikoro boasting the highest combat prowess while Kafka finds himself at the bottom of the ranks. With the odds stacked against him, Kafka braces himself for the ultimate challenge ahead. Hashina guides everyone to the testing grounds, providing a detailed briefing on the battlefield, the various monsters present, and the objectives they must achieve using the provided weapons and suits. With the instructions given, the test commences. Kikoro wastes no time in demonstrating her exceptional marksmanship and battlefield prowess. Her effortless skill draws admiration and envy alike from her fellow participants, setting a high bar for the rest to follow. Meanwhile, amidst the chaos of battle, Kafka and Reno find a moment to exchange a brief discussion about Kafka's combat capabilities. Their conversation is abruptly interrupted by Hashina, who announces the arrival of a formidable presence overseeing the proceedings, none other than Mina herself. With their lack of raw combat power evident, Kafka and Reno find themselves at a disadvantage. However, Kafka proposes a strategic shift in focus, advocating for a role of support and coordination rather than direct confrontation. He believes that by leveraging their strengths in teamwork and strategy, they can make a meaningful impact and earn the respect of those overseeing the test. With determination burning in their hearts, Kafka and Reno set out to prove that true strength lies not just in raw power, but in unity, resourcefulness, and the unwavering resolve to face any challenge head-on. Kafka and Reno cautiously approach their target, taking cover behind walls to avoid detection. Upon closer inspection, Kafka recognizes the Yoju species from his past work. Strategizing quickly, Kafka tosses a stun grenade towards the creature's eyes, explaining his plan to Reno. He then directs the other participants to aim for the monster's weak spot at stomach. With coordinated effort, they target the creature's vulnerable area, ultimately defeating it. Grateful for Kafka's leadership, the others express their appreciation before Kafka and Reno make a swift exit. As they flee, Kafka ponders the possibility of completing the test without resorting to his kaiju abilities. However, their respite is short-lived as another Yoju emerges, launching an attack on Kafka. Concerned for his well-being, a 3rd Division worker assesses Kafka's condition, fearing he may be too injured to continue. Just as hope seems lost, Kikoro intervenes, saving Kafka from certain failure. Despite her intervention, Kikoro can't resist a final jab at Kafka before departing. Determined to persevere, Kafka struggles to rise, grappling with the severity of his injuries. With Hashina advising him to quit, Kafka faces a critical decision, yet, fueled by sheer determination, he defies the odds, his resolve strengthening as he refuses to concede defeat. His unwavering resolve shining through even in the darkest of moments. With Kafka defiantly standing his ground against Hashina's doubts, with Reno by his side, Kafka's determination shines through as he refuses to back down, his resolve unwavering in the face of adversity. With a newfound sense of purpose, Kafka urges Reno to follow Kikoro, recognizing the opportunity to lend their support to her efforts, as Kafka clambers onto Reno's shoulders. Their unorthodox team strategy draws laughter from Hashina, who dismisses their approach as foolish. Undeterred, Kafka and Reno press on, their sights set on aiding Kikoro in her battle against the encroaching monsters. Meanwhile, Kikoro proves her mettle on the battlefield, dispatching her foes with effortless grace and precision. Her skill and prowess do not go unnoticed, earning praise from the exam personnel overseeing the trial. With the stage cleared and the exam concluded, medics are dispatched to tend to the wounded participants, their safety ensured in the aftermath of the intense battle. Meanwhile, in the observation room, Mina and Hashina commend Kikoro's remarkable skills. Adding to the intrigue, it's revealed that Kikoro is the daughter of the Defense Force General Director. As she strives to impress her father on the battlefield, a sudden assault from a lone monster catches her off guard. Simultaneously, Kafka and his companions observe the astonishing resurrection of defeated kaiju and Yoju nearby. Despite the unexpected attack, Kikora maintains her resolve to fight. However, her encounter takes a bizarre turn when the kaiju begins speaking, leaving Kikora bewildered. This chatty adversary plans to pit his Yoja allies against her once more, launching strange projectiles that render her immobile. As the exam personnel alerts Mina and Hashina to the unusual events unfolding, Mina swiftly orders the activation of recovery shields, dispatches drones to the testing grounds, and requests a live camera feed. Additionally, she instructs Hashina to accompany her to the scene. Meanwhile, a directive echoes across the testing grounds, urging all examinees to seek refuge immediately. Despite this, Kikora defies the order and engages one of the charged-up Hanju in battle. As the Hanju relentlessly presses forward, it hurls Kikora against the wall, leaving her injured. Simultaneously, a flashback unfolds, transporting us to a moment where Kikora's friend Risa excitedly shares news of her acceptance to Tokyo Neutralization Middle School's top tier. Amidst parental praise, Kikora stands alone, overhearing accolades showered upon other children. Her butler interrupts, assuring her of her father's imminent return and his anticipated satisfaction with her achievements. However, her father's response to her news is far from celebratory. He admonishes her to aim higher and become a paragon of perfection for the sake of humanity and her late mother. Back in the present, Kikora valiantly attempts to fend off the Hanju, but with each blow, it regenerates, growing stronger. Concern mounts for Mina and Hashina, fearing they won't reach her in time. Just as the Hanju is poised to deliver a fatal blow, Kafka arrives, commending Kikora for her resilience before transforming into his kaiju form. Elsewhere, other examinees battle Yoju and endeavor to evacuate. A flashback featuring Reno and Kafka ensues, when news of the Hanju's regeneration prompts Reno's concern for Kafka's safety. Kafka, now in kaiju form, urges Kikora to keep his ability a secret from the defense force and promises to divulge more later. Amidst the chaos, exam personnel update Hashina and Mina on the escalating fortitude levels, indicating the presence of an exceptionally powerful kaiju. With a single decisive blow, Kafka dispatches the Hanju, pleading for it to remain defeated as its remains plummet to the ground. Kafka reunites with Kikora, reverting slightly to his human form as he commends her bravery but warns against risking herself further. Reno soon arrives, echoing Kafka's sentiments, sparking a heated debate between the two. Overwhelmed, Kikora faints. Later, Mina, Hashina, and Defense Force troops arrive to inspect the Hanju's remains. Information from exam personnel reveals that Reno, Kafka, and Kikora are being attended to in the operation room. As Mina and Hashina ponder the cause of the crisis, Mina directs her allies to summon the investigation and disposal unit to the testing site. She and Hashina resolve to confront the remaining monsters themselves. In a quiet moment, Reno and Kafka discuss their recent encounters with kaiju in one of the operation rooms. Unbeknownst to them, Mina listens in from a distance. In a sudden encounter, Mina interrupts Kafka and Reno in their quarters, expressing gratitude for their assistance in Kikora's recovery. Just as Kafka hesitates to stop Mina from leaving, he holds himself back, resolving to address her properly once he attains officer status. Later, Hashina pays a visit to Kikora, who mistakenly attributes the defeat of the Hanju to herself instead of Kafka. Meanwhile, the chatty kaiju, now in human form, attempts to contact his ally via cell phone. Their conversation reveals the chatty kaiju's whereabouts. Subsequently, the human form of the kaiju exits a restroom and encounters a group of kaiju cleaners. The episode concludes with the cleaners pondering the whereabouts of Kafka and Reno.